I finally played Death Stranding, and I wasn't ready. Not ready for the story, not ready for the gameplay. Look, I'd seen the chatter, the memes about Kojima's walking simulator, the polarized reviews calling it everything from a masterpiece to a glorified delivery app, but none of it prepared me for what Death Stranding actually is. This game isn't just weird, it's a visionary gut punch. It's a meditation on humanity that broke my brain and stitched it back together. When I booted up Death Stranding, I expected a gritty, Kojima-flavored post-apocalypse type game. Maybe some stealthy Metal Gear Solid vibes with a side of sci-fi strangeness, but what I got was a haunting, slow burn odyssey about connection, isolation, and yes, delivery logistics. And here's the kicker. Those logistics, they're profound. That methodical, sometimes maddening gameplay loop, it works in ways I never saw coming. At first, yeah, I groaned. Why am I hauling packages across a barren wasteland for hours? Why does every pebble, every gust of wind feel like a personal attack? Why does every step carry so much weight? And then it clicked. This isn't a game about dominating or destroying. It's about preserving, connecting, rebuilding. There's a raw vulnerability to it. You're not a caped superhero or a grizzled soldier. You're Sam Porter Bridges, a courier. One wrong move and everything you're carrying, supplies, hope, the fragile threads of a shattered society can come crashing down. Death Stranding quietly teaches you the value of helping strangers, people you'll never meet. The asynchronous multiplayer is nothing short of brilliant. Every time I stumbled across a ladder, a bridge, or a shelter left by another player, I felt this strange, wordless gratitude. A signpost in the fog saying, someone was here. They cared. It's like the game is whispering, you're not alone. Let's talk about the Death Stranding, the cataclysm that broke the world. It wasn't just an apocalypse, it was a metaphysical rupture. The barriers between life and death didn't just crack, they shattered. Now when people die, their souls tethered to mysterious beaches can't fully pass on. If a corpse isn't incinerated fast enough, it necrotizes, drawing BTs, also known as beach things, which are ghostly entities from the other side. And when a BT fuses with a living body, you get a void out, a cataclysmic explosion that obliterates everything in its radius, leaving craters that scar the earth. Death in this world isn't just tragic, it's radioactive. Society collapsed under the weight of these disasters. Cities became bunkers, survivors scattered into isolated knots, hiding from timefall, the rain that accelerates time and ages everything that it touches. The United Cities of America, or UCA, is a fractured dream, a government trying to reconnect these pockets of humanity across a continent haunted by BTs and battered by chiralium, which is a strange substance from the world of the dead that warps reality itself. And then there's Sam Porter Bridges, our reluctant protagonist. He's a repatriate, a rare soul who can return from death. When he dies, he navigates the seam, a liminal purgatory between worlds, and then comes back. Why? His connection to the beach, a personal afterlife unique to each person, is stronger than most. It makes him vital to the UCA's mission. It almost makes him kind of cursed. But the lore goes deeper. The Death Stranding wasn't a random disaster. It's tied to extinction entities, cosmic beings who appear throughout history to trigger mass extinctions, wiping out the slate clean for evolution's next chapter. The game hints that humanity's hubris, its relentless push against nature, might have accelerated this one. And at the heart of it all is Amelia, Sam's adopted sister, whose soul is bound to the beach in ways that make her both a savior and potential destroyer. The world building is dense, almost suffocating. You've got factions like Homo Demons, terrorists who reject the UCA's visions of unity and worship the chaos of the Stranding. You've also got mules, rogue porters turned bandits obsessed with stealing cargo in a twisted parody of Sam's mission. And then there's the chiral network itself, a web of data and memory that is much a spiritual lifeline as it is a technological one. Every detail feels like it's unraveling a mystery bigger than the game itself. Delivering packages in Death Stranding isn't just busy work, It's the soul of the story. Every trek across a jagged ridge or a rain-soaked valley is an act of defiance against a world falling apart. You're not rebuilding America with bullets or speeches, you're doing it with rope, bridges, and sheer stubbornness. The chiral network is the game's beating heart. By connecting terminals, you're not just unlocking fast travel or map data, you're weaving a digital tapestry that binds survivors together. Powered by Chiralium, it's a bridge between the living and the dead, carrying memories, voices, and hopes across the void. Each node you activate feels like lighting a candle in the dark. And then there's BB, which stands for Bridge Baby. BB is a fetus in a pod wired to your suit. BBs are grown from brain-dead mothers, their half-formed souls attuned to the beats, letting you sense BTs. It's grim, almost dystopian, but Kojima doesn't let you treat BB as a tool. You soothe it when it cries, you rock it when it's scared, you hear its giggles, it coos. Over time, you're not just protecting BB, you're bonding with it. It's a symbol of innocence caught in a broken world. The gameplay mirrors the narrative themes so tightly, it's almost poetic. Timefall forces you to plan your routes to respect the world's hostility. BTs make every encounter with death feel intimate and terrifying. Even the cargo you carry, medical supplies, lost heirlooms, pieces of a 3D printer, tells a story of people clinging to hope. You're not just a delivery guy, you're a lifeline. And the asynchronous multiplayer ties it all together. Leaving a zipline for another player or finding a highway someone else built feels like a quiet act of faith. The game's world is hostile, but its players, they're proof that connection endures. Kojima didn't just write characters, he crafted archetypes, each one carrying a piece of the human condition. Fragile is a courier like Sam, but her name is no accident. She's been betrayed, hunted, and scarred by a world that chews up trust. Yet she keeps moving, delivering, connecting. Her arc is about resilience, not the flashy kind, but the quiet, bone-deep kind that comes from choosing to care despite everything. Die Hardman, the UCA's stoic leader, hides his trauma behind a literal mask. His story is one of duty clashing with guilt, a man who's made impossible choices to keep the dream of unity alive. His eventual unmasking, both literal and emotional, is a moment that hits like a freight train. Cliff, portrayed by Mads Mikkelsen, is a ghostly enigma, a soldier, a father, a specter of loss. His dreamlike warzone sequences, drenched in oil and regret, are some of the game's most haunting. His connection to Sam and BB is a masterclass in emotional storytelling, tying the game's themes of sacrifice and legacy into a single devastating thread. And then there's Higgs, the game's antagonist. He's not just a villain, he's a nihilist prophet, the leader of Homo Demens. Clad in a golden mask, he worships the Death Stranding as a divine reset, wielding BTs like weapons. His philosophy that isolation and destruction are humans' true nature. This clashes with Sam's quiet persistence. Higgs isn't evil for evil's sake, he's what happens when hope curdles into despair. Amelia, though, is the story's core. She's Sam's sister, the UCA's beacon, an extinction entity, a being destined to usher in humanity's end. Her beach, a vast, lonely shore, is the nexus of the Stranding. But through Sam, she sees humanity's potential, not just to destroy, but to connect, to endure. Her hesitation, her choice, is the game's philosophical climax. Is humanity worth saving? The ending of Death Stranding is a slow, aching crescendo. After crossing a continent facing BTs, mules, and the ghosts of your own past, Sam makes a choice. He doesn't return BB, whom he names Lou, to the UCA system. He doesn't let the cycle of exploration continue. Instead, he chooses love, connection, and humanity. This one act, small in the grand scope of the gameplay, is everything in the narrative. Sam breaks the chains of the past. He gives Lou a future, a chance to live beyond the pod and beyond the beach. And in doing so, he redefines what it means to rebuild, not through systems or networks, but through personal human bonds. But the ending isn't just about Sam and Lou, it's about Amelia's choice too. Faced with her role as the extinction entity, she defies fate, she delays the inevitable, giving humanity a chance to keep going, to keep connecting. It's not a happy ending, it's a hopeful one, a fragile, hard-won hope. It's rare for a game to make you rethink your place in the world, your relationship with life, death, and the people around you, but Death Stranding did that for me. It made me feel the weight of every step, every choice, and every connection. I wasn't ready for how heavy Death Stranding would get, or how long it would linger in my mind like a song I can't stop humming. This game is divisive. It's slow, it's strange, it's dense with symbolism and lore that demands patience, but it's also one of the most original, daring games I've ever played. It's a love letter to human resilience, wrapped in a package that is infuriating as it is beautiful. If you're willing to walk its long, lonely roads, literally and figuratively, it might just change you and how you see games, stories, and maybe even yourself. I finally played Death Stranding, and I wasn't ready, but I'm so glad I did. Are you?